Brent,
Here.
Jeff,
Here.
Larry, absent, Jennifer, absent, Brian,
Here.
Janice, here, Dan.
Here.
The first item on the agenda is minutes from last meeting, and that's what we had just talked about. Jennifer will have them, so we will look at them at the next meeting. It's been a couple months, so I can refresh you a little bit what we talked about. We discussed the tree board attire. We looked at, I believe Jennifer showed us 3 or 4 different options.
Oh.
And we were going to vote on them tonight. So pass them around, look at them, see what you think. I don't know if we should vote. I don't know if there's enough of us here, if we should go ahead and vote on it.
How many total versus how many is
We have 2 missing, I guess. There's 2 of us missing, so
I would feel
Sorry.
comfortable voting on it.
I think so too, to get moving along on it. So we discussed that, so we'll have that, we'll talk about that more. We started talking about Arbor Day. We also discussed the ginkgo tree in Baker Park. That's kind of the highlights.
That, I went down there. It had a 4-inch red line on it. I painted over it, but it was not ever,
Mark to be cut. Okay, good.
so.
So let's just dive right into our old business. Financial update. Do we have, can you give us any sort of an
Yes,
update?
okay, I have some discrepancies. Either we have $45,657, or we have $39,978. She gave me 2 figures.
Okay.
Oh.
And so
I like the bigger one.
I agree. I carried over $5,679 from last year. So I'm thinking,
Well, I have Daniel Landscape Design has a small bill that has not been paid yet,
okay.
Which is
So it
unusual,
might be,
but-
it probably is the,
but it's not that amount. That's too much. That's
okay.
not
Well,
what-
either
but-
way, we had 40,000 budgeted, so either we're under or over. Nothing's been spent unless whatever Daniel Landscape.
First time you gave was 45,000.
Yes.
So could it be that what we actually have and 39.9 is what our budget for the year is? But we have more than what our budget's in the account because it carried over that 5,000?
Yeah.
See,
That's
there is
why-
an amount that Rosie would not, said that she could not pay me because the trees had not gotten in the ground.
Okay,
So there's an amount there, and I don't know, I don't remember what that is. It's for 42 trees that have not been planted.
yeah.
And then there's a small invoice that I actually invoiced at the end of December.
No, I lost it.
And that has not been paid yet, but that's just a few $100s.
So I will get this, we had a conversation, she sent it to me. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to, let me figure this out, but. I feel like an idiot right now, sorry.
Well,
All right, all right.
Feel and is.
I was gonna say that I feel very much like that sometimes, so.
Well, and I'm gonna guess that that's kind of what we're at. Like, there's actually 45
That's what I'm
in the
thinking.
account, but it's already been earmarked for some of those things.
Yes, and that's why I
Which
think
brings
it's
us back to-
$39,978.
That's
Yeah.
what the available budget is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Because
that
it
does
says
make sense.
unencumbered balance, and she has it highlighted, so
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go with $39,978.
Okay.
because I would say the rest, that 5,000 and some is earmarked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who's up the money on the trees?
Who's out the money?
Well, you said some of the trees won't get paid until they're in the ground.
Correct, there's 42 trees that have not been planted. And I just have them stored at my
Correct.
facility.
They have been paid for.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
paid
okay.
for the
All
trees,
right.
we just
Yeah.
have not paid for the trees.
Because
we
I have
planted.
not
We haven't
done the
paid to
labor
have to
yet.
put the trees in the ground.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. I have not done the labor yet, so Rosie didn't feel which that's fine, didn't feel comfortable paying that until they got planted and were done.
Okay,
So, which is fair.
all right.
Yep.
And pay the whole thing, okay.
Yeah, so she hit, the city has paid me, paid Daniel Landscape Design for the amount of trees that we have planted.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
And so the ones that are not planted in
So
their
you're not out
place,
anything.
I'm not out
Okay,
anything,
all right.
except for a couple $100
Yeah, yeah.
for maintenance things,
Okay,
couple maintenance things,
no, that's fine.
so. So once we get homes for those 42 trees, then that will get billed and get paid.
Okay.
I just left an old business, the new building ordinance and tree list for planning commission.
So I wanted to comment on that. We still have time because in front of Brian is our next future potential subdivision. And what I'm kind of getting in a weird, I'm in a,
Where is this?
that is north, it's gonna be changed Thursday, but that is north of Walmart. The Blue property,
Oh, that property right in behind?
yep, that has been purchased and that's one of the preliminary, but
That goes all the way out to Vine Street or
yes.
109?
Is it homes, apartments?
It's a multi-use.
I would say, is this, I was gonna say, is this really like, I was like, they what, like, that is like a large, like,
Did CMD?
That's probably gonna be changed because they thought they could land off topic, they thought they could possibly land a Menards. We don't think we can land Menards. We can possibly, it's being recorded, but we can possibly land like a TJ Maxx, Ulta, like, those stores that you always see together. And so that's kind of gotta be rearranged. We have some fast food restaurants,
Oh, of course.
some,
like,
a
if you land the
decent.
if you land the TJ Maxx, that may be bad, you'll never get my sister out of it.
And so, but then its housing's gonna be behind it. But what we've ran into out off of Hannah, they kind of adjusted the setbacks. And so the tree lawn is actually smaller. So we're gonna have to finagle how we actually require, because Brooks did closer setbacks, so that pushed the tree lawn together. So we're gonna have to walk a fine line, but we've got time because this is the latest one coming down the drain that has not been platted or anything. And so, we just need to get it changed before this actually gets,
Has it been purchased already? Like,
Yes.
is it CMD by any chance?
no,
Okay. I know they were looking at it.
So what, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if the city's like the county, any ordinance change has to be directed by council or the commission or the mayor.
and then you have 2 months, you have 2 readings, or it could be 2, I don't know if it's 2 months or 2 weeks.
I think it's 2 months. I think it's discussion and then it's advertised for public hearing before you can make a determination and
Yeah.
vote, whatever. So it'll be a process to get the ordinance changed. But like I say, I think in the existing city ordinance, there are stipulations for it already.
Okay.
Not in the zoning code, but in the code of ordinances.
Okay,
That if we want to, and that would somewhat be up to the mayor and you, I imagine,
And I don't
of
think-
whether we enforce that part, because it's not part of the zoning and building part of it. I think it's under the code of ordinance.
okay.
So it would be enforceable by the city, not by.
We'll get together
not-
sometime and
Yeah,
talk
we'll
about
review that.
Best way to go about
Okay.
it.
I was gonna say,
I'm
do
just
we need
afraid
to
if
make
we-
a meeting with the mayor to?
I don't think so. I think we can.
If you and I can sit together for a half an hour and go over that, I think we could have a pretty good grasp of what steps we need to take,
Okay.
if any, on our end in the tree plan to,
Because you know, well, you don't know the cities probably as well as the
I
county,
know.
or do you?
I know a little bit, not as much as the counties know.
Okay.
But I know enough where I know where to find that information.
Okay.
And see what it says currently, and see if we have to do anything, or if we just need to start enforcing what's already there.
Okay. Okay. We'll get together soon.
Okay.
Okay,
So on the planning, I said I was gonna get a hold of some places for trees. So what I've done is I've taken the list that you handed out, and I've starred the trees that are very prominent at all of the places that are available
Good.
locally. So if you wanna, like, keep that a hold. And then I also
Can I take a
printed
look
off
at
the
it?
list
Okay.
of shade trees unlimited, of what they have available. It was hard to get a hold of anybody. I just pulled off of their websites, and I talked to a few
this
people.
time of
that-
year, it's hard to get a hold of them.
Sure, and
They're,
it made sense.
yeah, they're
not
really
there.
shut down and everybody's gone.
But I feel if we're gonna pick trees, it should be something that's readily available somewhere, right?
Yep.
Makes more sense instead
Yep.
of driving all over the place to try to find a tree.
Yep. And that was things we would run into with the list that Davy would provide for us. They would be, okay, yeah, they're native trees, cool, but nobody grows them.
Nobody's.
Nobody has them.
Yeah.
Nobody wants them.
Yeah, but have them shipped over from Germany to
Yeah.
be planted here, and
Yeah, right.
yeah. And there's quite a few of them on there. I mean, there's
Mm-hmm.
a decent list just with that.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I was gonna write a list and mark down which ones had what, and I was like, no, it just gets to be too complicated.
Yep.
Like, hey, these are available, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and that ought to be what goes on the list. Don't put all those others.
Right, right,
And
that's what I
then
was
if somebody
thinking.
specifically wants one, then
Well,
they can ask.
you know, yeah, leave it somewhat open of, these are approved and open for consideration of other options. And
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
there should be a clause in that, that if they do want
Right.
something different, and then we can approve it at that point, or
Right.
however that works.
But it would require approval.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of medium and small trees too, like, that would be up to us if we wanted to do that.
Yep.
I just did the larger one.
Well, if you have really small properties, for example.
But you
know.
said this new place here, the tree lawn is smaller, so
Yeah, that's what we don't,
might
working in
require
those.
that a smaller to a medium tree versus a large tree.
Mhm.
Let's see now. Okay.
You said the ginkgo trees were good?
Yeah, the
Sorry,
next-
Dan,
Yeah.
so the ones you've got the asterisks are the ones.
That's what's readily available. I mean, there's
Readily
trees all
available.
around, yeah, Fort
Good.
Wayne. I did like a 30
Maybe we can run
mile
a
radius.
copy of that, so Jeff can have that if he wants to, if you want to put that in the minutes,
Okay,
or at least have it available for next month. Okay, that tree inspection, the ginkgo, there's a ginkgo tree that's important to the city that is in Baker's Park. And last month, or the last time we met, there was some concern that it was marked to be removed. And we were like, no, that can't be right. And so Chip said he went and took a look at it. He said it was marked with a little red.
Red, I think it was like what I honestly think it was, somebody painted in the Duval Tunnel and just came out and hit that too. Kind of tagged it, not, I want to sound cool and say they tagged it,
Yeah. So it's safe and it's fine and no big.
It is not going to be cut
No
by
problem.
the city or,
Okay.
All right, so I have a question, the Baker Park, what is that considered the area? Because I'm learning, I've not realized there's that many little spots in Columbia City, I'm learning.
There's lots of parks.
Holy cow, right?
do you know where Duval Field is?
Yes,
It is on the other side, there's a tunnel that connects.
yeah, so it's on the
Fine.
north side,
It's on the north side of,
where they used to sled?
yep,
Okay,
Yep.
that's Baker Park.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't know it was a different name.
yes.
All right, well.
And
there we
Duval
go.
Field is on the
And Double
south
Field
side,
Is on the south side of the tunnel.
Yeah.
kind of where they sled now.
Yes,
But the more advanced kids still sled on Duval side, or Baker side.
yeah.
They built ramps.
That's where I sled.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're advanced.
I'm a sledding fool.
I would not do that nowadays.
I don't have that fleck.
Okay, next, tree trimming, how we coming?
We have 1.5 done.
Well, you're started.
The weather has been
Basically right there.
hit or miss,
Dan,
and
that's Baker.
Okay.
That's on the other side.
Okay,
Is that
we'll have them
marked
done.
on
Oh,
there?
yeah, I'm
We
not
started
worried.
the two big ones on.
those two
Jackson,
maples that we talked
or
about?
Jefferson, Jackson.
Jackson.
Yeah, I'm going
Uh-huh.
around.
So they got one down and half. So
And what'd they look like inside? What is afraid?
terrible. No, they had some rot, and we're in discussion because one guy went to tree school.
We're gonna fill you in. There's
Yeah.
two big maple trees, they're silver maples on Jackson Street, East Jackson.
Okay.
And, the arborist tagged them, suggested they come down. Chip took a look at them and went,
They were budding. I'm not, I will flat out say, I'm not an arborist. They were budding, all true full bud. And I was like, okay, they're okay. But then I called Janice
and so I went and took a look at them. There was some, down below the area, there was some rot. You looked up in it, there was some branches that were rot. I'm not sure I would have taken them down, but then again, I'm not a certified arborist. I would have trimmed them, because I hate taking big trees down. But
But it's a silver maple, right?
but it's a silver maple, yes. And it's sometimes really hard to tell if
Yeah.
there's rot in the middle of it.
Well,
And our arborist said, and if we're going to hire him and we're going to trust him, we need to trust him. And had one of us, not just me, if one of us, any of us had said, oh, no, that's okay, we're not taking that down, and it had fallen,
Yeah.
then what?
yeah, and the homeowner was actually happy because it was hanging over the home. So, I mean, legally, it was a good move.
So they're down?
One.
One has done.
1.5.
Okay.
They're really
The
big.
weather,
That one is
it's,
really trimmed well.
Now, were they, when they came down, were they punky in the middle, or were they?
the trunk was good. There
It
were
was-
some big branches that had some rot in the middle.
Hollow.
Yeah, hollow in the middle.
The black
So-
ants love those things.
Well, if we don't start taking them down one or two at a time, there's gonna be a time where we're having to take 100 of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was upset, and then Janice talked me off the ledge, and I think we've got 3 big ones we're taking down this year. Other than that, everything else is just, you know,
And like you just said, if we take a couple big ones down
And
every
replant.
year, we don't overwhelm our electric
Yeah.
department either.
Yeah.
Now, when we
And-
take down like that one, is it get replaced, or what is the process
we
on
need to
that?
start doing. We have not in the past
Okay.
5 years done that. We've just
We
been
used to,
hitting.
Yeah,
we used
it
to,
used
that's,
to
used
be
to be
practice that
how,
we would-
that was common practice.
We
We
would
take one down, it goes
grind
back
it,
in.
fill it,
Shift it over?
shift it over a little bit and
Okay.
plant another one.
We got away from that.
Yeah.
We started doing these mass plantings,
Mm-hmm.
which are very, yeah, I mean, they're very noticeable. People notice that. Single tree plantings, people don't notice it so much.
But
However,
over time, they just start disappearing.
But yeah, I agree. If we're hiring him to make those decisions so that we don't have to, until we get unless there is ever, I hope there isn't, unless there's a reason for us to doubt his decisions, let's roll with that.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm,
okay. Well, if we can, since we have these 42
I
trees
was just
to
gonna say,
to
we
get
have
planted,
42, is there ones that we can go back in the last couple years and
or at
replace?
least this year,
Or start this year?
Start now.
It
and
would
try
seem to make
and
sense.
plant back in these spots.
I agree.
Makes sense.
You
Do
want
we
me
need to make a motion?
I make a motion that we replant trees in places that we remove trees unless there's a good reason why we shouldn't.
I'll second Brent's motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Because we will find some that, man, there really shouldn't be a tree there.
Right, I mean, you're gonna survey the area, right, and make sure that it makes sense to put another tree. If it was causing problems before,
Because then we'll get with
will another
those.
one cause that in another 15, 20 years?
Yeah, and if the
Well,
sidewalk was messed up, or there's a sign nearby, we might have to relocate it,
Yep.
so we're not,
Well, and these big silver maples that are coming down, we are gonna have to relocate it a little bit, obviously.
Oh, yeah. you're
These
not gonna be
roots
able to
are
get in
gonna
the-
be everywhere,
You're gonna
so,
have to shift it down about 20 feet.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So. Okay, any questions or comments on that? All right, let's go to the tree board attire.
I'm ready to vote.
I'm ready to know whenever, but like, my thought was, I like all, I kind of, like all the sites I like are unique in their own little way. In terms of what is readable and like easy to see, like, my only thing, like, the two ones on the bottom is where like the detail is a little much. I'm kind of partial to number two, just big letters, easy to read, says what we are. That, or, I mean, I would be okay with one or two.
That's where I'm at, 1 or 2.
I like one.
If anyone has like, no, I really like this one, I can live with either one, but I just wanted to exercise as much as I like 3 and 4, I just don't think they're.
I don't think 3 and 4 are easily
The
able,
graphics hide from what is,
Yeah.
what it is.
and they're
The
not
other
gonna
two,
show up
yeah.
well on a shirt.
No,
Correct.
I would agree. I'm 1 or 2 as well. I think I lean a little more to 2.
The only one that's leaning towards one.
Well,
I
I'm
like
leaning
one
towards
better.
one,
I like one better.
I could go with 1.
I can live with I can live with
so I like it, but,
It's just real, I just like real simple and
Mm-hmm.
it's clean.
I like
Yep.
one, I like one just because it kind of goes back to a design, it's a landscape design feature,
That's true.
than,
Yeah.
than
Yeah,
just,
that's why I like it too.
than.
Oh,
I think it would
overview
sit well on
feature. Yeah, I
a
got you.
t-shirt or
Uh-huh.
something.
Yeah, and I think it leads more to a municipality style of logo.
Yeah.
I want to embarrass myself. I did not realize that's what that was until you just pointed that out. I was like, it's a tree. It's a top-down view of a tree. But now that you say, it, I was like, oh, that is exactly.
When I was doing landscape architecture, I drew a lot of
that's
trees
a
like
symbol.
that.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
So that, I guess that kind of leads back just to more of a
I like the
Design.
concept of it, yeah.
design plan looking, that's why I like that one.
Yep.
All right, how do you wanna vote on this?
I'm gonna make a motion that we approve item number 1, or image number 1 for our shirts. And then if anybody doesn't want to second it, then that motion is
Second.
not, okay.
All those in favor? Aye.
Okay, well,
Those opposed? Chip, do you care? Okay. Chip abstains from the vote.
I don't get a vote.
Okay, so
That's
Yeah.
one with you.
this is the one.
yeah, I like that one.
So are we gonna go on white shirts or what are we gonna do?
I don't want white.
No, I don't either. It'd be really dirty.
I also would recommend a performance type material, not a heavy cotton type shirt if we're going to be
Mhm.
out here when it's hot.
I
Some
think,
that breathes a little
I
bit
think
better.
that we should go with like a khaki colored shirt, like a brown khaki.
Light,
With,
light
with,
brown.
Earthy natural color?
yeah, with the green, I mean, it puts us kind of in that DNR
Yeah.
Ooh, I like
type
that.
of,
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe blaze orange with
No.
reflective stripes on it.
yeah,
Some safety vests.
I love me
Yeah.
some good Kubota orange,
Yeah.
still, so I could go for
Yeah,
that.
there you go.
But I'm thinking
Okay.
something khaki tan,
I think
so if
I
I'm-
will take this up to, running around screen printing. I'll have her give us some options
Okay, and bring the colors.
and
back.
bring the colors back
Yeah.
and we'll pick next month.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Cause that'll be March. We wanna have them for Arbor Day and if we do it
are we gonna do
first
the
Fridays.
first Friday?
And that's what we're gonna talk
Oh,
about
well, look at that.
when we get down into
Okay.
new business, so,
Jumping ahead. Look at that.
good. Okay, next thing, door hangers. When we plant these new trees, we kind of were rushing it last fall.
Uh-huh, yep.
Never really got them worked out so we could put them.
Sure.
I'm not opposed to putting them on people's doors when we plant a tree.
Now,
In fact, it saves me a little bit.
before, are you gonna put them a few days prior, or as the day you're doing it?
I don't know.
I think just the day we're doing it, we're there then. Otherwise,
Yeah.
awful lot of footwork. And
It
if for
is.
some reason we don't plant a tree there,
Oh,
we kind of covered ourselves too.
okay.
Otherwise, I'd say
It
plant
just
the tree.
saves me from
Go.
having, homeowners will come out and say, okay, now what do I need to do to take care of this? And I might say it 10 times in a day
Well, that-
versus just
So
sticking
that
it.
hanger needs to have that common questions on there with
Right,
maybe
how
our
often-
phone number or website, email,
Yes.
to contact us and ask.
Jeff had worked on it, but I never saw it.
Okay.
I have it somewhere. You know what, let me
I have
work
it.
on it and I'll bring something next meeting.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I don't wanna muddy the water.
think I made an edit to the original text, so you want me to
You
reset
don't
that?
want
to you?
Email it to me, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll
Well,
do
Change
that.
and the
mine.
other thing, we were kind of waiting on the logo to put that on as
Okay.
well. So we should get that file and put it on there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, cool.
No, I'm just thinking on the door hanger, we could print a QR code that links directly to
Our website. Put
a
it-
instruction list. You can call, visit a website, or QR code, and it goes right to
Yep.
the tree board website that links you right to the,
It also needs to have a non-technical list too, because there will be people that are not technical. We've ran across that with, we did some J things with Home Depot contest, and they got docked if they didn't have an option of
I
a
get it.
manual type thing, I guess.
I deal
I
with it.
just sat for an
Yeah.
hour Sunday night trying to teach my 80-year-old dad how to use
Yeah.
a QR code.
And
I
it could be
couldn't
simple
just-
as on the door
Yeah.
hanger, on the one side could have all the stuff and have the QR code on the front and have it, and it could be part of the door hanger.
Yep.
Yeah.
And people like the QR code, then they can save it in
Well,
their
I was
phone.
running on that, I could go over to Mark's, that's,
There's
I was
not a lot
thinking
of
I could buy-
information that needs to be on.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead with
Let me do that.
okay.
Yeah.
I would
Okay,
say,
all right.
maybe is there a Tree City USA, something that we can say, hey, do you guys already have door hangers for new planting? And, yeah, just send us your logo and your phone number, and we'll send you out 500 of them.
Oh, that's a good point, yeah.
Just a thought. And I don't know the answer to that.
I started writing bigger and bigger and angry.
I'll do, like I
Okay,
said.
thank you,
I'll check
Jeff.
with the printer, I'll check with
Thank you.
Tree City and, yeah, see what we can do.
There's gotta be something, right?
Uh,
We're not the only ones
The
discussing.
file
We're not
for
the
the
only ones.
logo, Jennifer has, right? She's one creative
Jennifer
for it?
should have it. Yeah, Jennifer
Okay.
created it.
Okay.
Yeah, she said she had them on, I don't know, PDF or whatever. One of those barely.
Is this the only copy we have
Technical
of
guy.
that, though? You had that one.
Yeah.
Is that the only copy we had?
I
'Cause
think, I
don't have a
thought she
copy.
had, I thought she had a couple.
She had I know you grabbed one,
Yeah.
and
I
then
don't
she
think
had.
I
never did.
I just hung on to it that it was.
Maybe you can make a copy of
I don't
this
think I
before
got
we
one.
leave. Can you do that? Please,
No.
please, please.
Downstairs.
We only want the,
You just want the.
we just want the corner one, yeah.
What else? Oh, the list of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You want just, there's no reason to put that, it would be just that
Okay.
list there.
I'll get these, I'll be right back. Don't talk about me, please.
Can we keep going though?
Yes.
Okay. So lunch, anybody have anything else for old business? Anything you want to discuss or talk about more? If not, we're going to jump into new business.
I'm fine with going to new business.
Okay. I wrote on here goals for 2025. And I really didn't have any, like, I
Well-
thought we could come up with some.
Well, what I've, just in a short period of time, you guys have mentioned multiple times about getting this new tree list and updating the, I'm sorry, the yearbook or whatever it is,
A tree plan?
the tree planning. Getting
Yep.
that updated.
The tree management plan? Tree management.
I think I've heard it mentioned every meeting, so maybe that should be a goal of 2025 to
Yeah.
get that completed, or at least
Updated.
updated, yeah. I know that looks like a lot of work, so probably
I
gonna take
think
a
it's a
while.
lot of copy and pasting.
Yeah.
I think it's
As
eliminating.
I was looking through there, it seems like a lot of stuff maybe not necessary in that.
Yes, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, I think we're doing already a good job. We've picked a logo, or we've talked about our zoning codes.
Well,
And that's one thing that I just have written down here is, I'm gonna say involvement in new development planting, so that if we have something like that scope, I mean, there's a couple proposed housing additions that, haven't taken form yet. One is out by you, Janice, that, you know, as these come through, that we're involved in. Because Columbia City Plan Commission is going to do a review of the development plan and all that stuff. So as long as we have it on their radar to at least make this a point of, you know, in your landscape plan, where do we and how involved can we be in determining what their street trees are going to look like? And do we, as long as they have a plan, is that they check the box? Is it, what kind of control do we want to have over that, or can we have over that? And where are we at in the decision part of it? But just involved in new development, whether it be an industrial area or.
They're called the planning commission?
The plan commission is who approves that
Right.
type of
Okay.
development.
Another thing, be, I think, quite attainable, would be complete our plantings in the Hannah Extended.
I'm sorry.
I know we ran into some issues
not
with
that savvy.
utility, but
Just to get this one, you weren't that savvy?
You could have folded it over, you know, 4 ways.
I was gonna cut and
Cut and
enlarge and all of this, but
Get the little glue stick out. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's colored though, I mean,
I got your color,
that
yes.
was very nice. Oh, thank you.
hey, Chip,
Yes.
in the Hannah Extended, some of those far reaches of new developments, are they within the city?
Yes.
Yeah.
At the end of Hannah Street
At
is
the-
where it stops
Okay,
of city.
but now they.
Going back by- yes,
Oh,
that's
ba-
still
okay,
in the city.
That's all city, okay.
Yep.
All right.
But that's where I was talking, that they've adjusted the the
Oh, yeah.
setbacks, so we might not have, I
We
need
need
to
to look
pull
at-
out the
I can,
prints
and I can pull that flat and kind of take a look at it as well.
and see.
But it's possible that a lot of trees could be planted through there that we wouldn't have to pay for
Yes,
or plant.
well,
Or-
that's already been pre-approved though.
Yeah.
So we can't,
That would,
Okay.
yes, it's new development, but that's already passed the approval
Good,
process
okay,
through,
all right.
through the plan commission.
Okay, yep.
I need an assistant.
But no, I think just being involved in that is a good enough set for a goal. I would also propose, like we had talked about last year, and I don't know how involved we need to be in this, Chip, or how involved we're invited to be in this. But tree planting Eagle Park. I know there was issue with landscaping of there. I don't want to get behind in that. If we could be proactive in at least this year having a few,
That would be great.
and moving forward, you know, have a few of our whatever trees we're going to do, even though it's park, not street,
But I would, personally, I would love that.
I mean, I think it would be,
I think we should
I
be
don't think it would be a good responsible thing to do to just leave that set. I think for us to be involved to have some,
There are some, like,
Planting.
I think the problem is the park budget does not account for truly landscaping. I know it's kind of rubbed Larry wrong, but that's just never been their vision. I can't push it enough. And so, you know, I think, yes, I think the tree board could make a huge movement there. I do want to plant some stuff around, like the pickleball court that would not be tree board, but if you guys wanted to line it in crab apples or, you know, I've always loved going to like arboretums where you've got like, you know, a pine tree area and this and an oak forest and, you know, but do whatever you would like.
I'm just thinking if we play as a team, as
Yeah.
weird as that
Well, it
kinda
makes sense,
sounds,
it's a brand new park, and it's
of,
gonna be
of
used.
being
by
able
everyone.
to do some of that stuff in there, as a tree board is gonna benefit as much as it would be on the street.
Yeah.
I mean, we have, obviously there are roads back there that we can do stuff on, but, whether it be along some trails in some areas, like we did out at the school where we do a grove of something, I think would be,
I would love that.
you know, if we could figure out, you know, even 4 or 5 trees per year, it wouldn't take very many years to get a decent impact in that park.
Right, yeah.
With not knowing exactly, I don't know that we're ready to do that yet with the construction and all that stuff that's being done.
Well, right now, I mean, skate park is supposed to be done Memorial Day. So then, you know, we'll have a clean
Yeah,
slate.
once that's done with big equipment running through,
Mhm.
and less
Yeah.
damage possibility, maybe we
Plant in the phases.
do
As long as the grading's been done.
right,
you
do a
know,
handful,
So we
do
could
a
plant
handful.
around the skate park.
Yeah.
Mhm. And I think that'll benefit,
I'm gonna reach out to like 5 different landscapers and get quotes on it and see what they really wanna come up to. And then, yes, it makes my life easier if the tree board is doing that.
well, and I still think that if, there's no reason why we can't do some sort of a campaign for that. I'll tell you, the Columbia City Tree Board is putting on a campaign to sponsor a tree in Eagle Park, and who knows, you could have
Oh,
50 people
They've
want
had
to.
I've seen the placards where you could sponsor a tree
Yeah, you
and
could,
everything.
you could buy a brick for the Y when they were doing that.
Yeah.
People were spending X amount of hundreds of dollars for a brick.
That could be
Yeah,
Now
you're
sit-
getting it.
Now sit on a pile out behind the Y. So,
25 years later.
right, so, you know, not necessarily have a, you know, if they wanted to put a plaque out there for their tree that they sponsored.
I'm 100%
Have
behind
at it, but maybe in the springtime, we come up with, you know, some sort of marketing for a campaign for that, and we advertise it.
You said something that tripped a memory, like a core memory from like when I first joined the board. Do you remember when we were talking about like some like the funeral homes around town, and it was like you could say, oh, plant a tree
In memory of.
and so-and-so's honor. Look, I remember we were trying to figure out how do we like account for that. Did we ever make any progress? Where like, is there's a way to set up an account somehow where it's like, because obviously that money shouldn't just come to the tree board, right? That's not what it needs to be like. Look, it's going into this fund. It's going to be used to plant, you know.
Because if you go
trees.
on Demoni Grimes' site or Smith Funeral
Yeah,
site.
I do that, same, I
And you can
do
say,
that.
plant a tree. However, the tree gets planted,
Wherever.
In Nebraska,
Yeah.
somewhere.
Michigan was where the last one I did was, and I'm like, well, that doesn't benefit here.
yes.
Plant
And
a tree.
I
that's why
had
we
a
would
one-
like to get it so they could, they give $200 to plant a tree or whatever, and then we plant the tree here.
And then we could let whoever know.
And Eagle
this is
Park
where
may
it's
be a
at.
good location to do
Yeah.
that at, instead of in front of somebody else's house on Van
Uh-huh.
Buren.
Yeah, that'd be
Well,
Yeah.
even Morshes, I mean, there, a lot of people use those trails, but it'd be nice to start planting trees along the trail, so that at some point in the future, when you go for a bike ride or a walk,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
You're
with
in
the
the
bridge
shade.
out. there,
That's what
you
I'm saying,
got-
especially when
there's
you cross that
nothing.
bridge, it's just nothing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And I had talked to Smiths at one time, and they were open to the suggestion.
And I think Damoni Grimes was too, and then I think it just,
How do we do it?
how do we do it? Because, the foundation, from what, because I think somehow somebody, maybe it was me, I don't know, talked to the foundation.
And
And
they
they
weren't
just-
doing that anymore.
They weren't
so,
doing that anymore. Yeah.
Let me look into that.
I think we
Honestly,
assume it's-
honestly, I'd offer to help, I just don't know where to start, I mean, I knew we had talked
I think
to-
it's
I say
simpler
we, the
than-
royal we.
I bet
and-
it's easier than we're thinking.
I was gonna talk to Vanessa from the Community Foundation, say, hey, when you used to do this, how'd you do it?
Uh-huh.
Who'd you do
Well,
it
well,
through?
right, I mean, they
And
know the
where-
process,
Yeah.
right? That'd be
Where do we need to
perfect.
go and how can we,
Yeah.
How do we set
how
it up?
can we do this?
Yeah,
'Cause
so-
I
You'll
mean,
look into that?
I
Yeah.
think Morse's Park's good, but
You would like
Baker,
me to-
or,
I'll-
Eagle Park.
Eagle Park
Oh,
is
it's-
brand new.
What's your
It's
cell?
brand
There's
new,
nothing
and we
over
can
there right
just
now.
You still have that 900 number?
at least maybe get started
Talk to
there
the
to make
other
it
supposed to know
a
about
little.
that. Calm
Especially
down,
for
answer
people
your
that
questions.
have lived
Just
here all their
shred
life,
it
past
down.
here, and then they can kind of leave their legacy a little bit in a different way. And people always remember that. I like that a bunch.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Of course, I can't write my own phone numbers
I
down.
figured it was 260. I was just kidding.
Listen,
Awfully,
listen.
awfully bold of you to assume.
I might have that, I have that old 99210.
All right, right.
219.
There you go.
90210.
90210. That's the wrong.
You're a little young for that show when it's on.
Yeah.
Boy.
Right. Okay,
Okay.
well, that's
You
a
need
good,
help on that.
So I
that's a
got
good
here,
thought of that.
updated
We
tree
might have a
management plan.
team thing go here, and we can
Leaf
have it
tree
on
list
a
and
subcommittee.
update
for it.
ordinances and communicate with the planning commission.
Have a meeting somewhere.
Complete our plantings in the hen extended. Target some new plantings for Eagle Park, comma, perhaps even launching a tree sponsorship program in the community. We'll look into providing people the opportunity to sponsor tree plantings in memory of loved ones through our funeral homes.
That's awesome.
I think I think those are good goals for 25.
And that was very eloquently spoken.
Yes, it was.
was. It's much better than I did.
And I'm a budget hawk, but, I mean, we had money left over in the budget. We didn't pay an arborist, but we are gonna pay an arborist this year, but I still think we're gonna have money left over. Just kind of run the numbers through my head. So, I mean, you know, we can make impactful plantings outside of Hannah Street, you know, even Eagle Park. And I would love, if you ever think about it, when you're driving down the Vols basketball courts over here and it kind of curves, there's like 100 yards where there's no trees.
Right.
I'm like, you know, it would shade, you know, if we wanted to go after shading the road, it would shade some of Van Buren, you know, and then Vol has no trees. Yeah,
Oh,
we've got
that's true.
a lot of places you guys can make impact at, and
Yeah, I just don't want to negate the fact that we're here for street trees, but it's still city property, and we can,
I did get a complaint that it has been resolved, that the ones that we planted in front of the foundation, they were gonna have to mow around them.
Oh, Lord. I can take my 18-volt
Who-
mower
who-
up there and,
who mows around that?
The park.
oh.
Ah, well, we'll be okay then.
They might have the
Thank you.
equipment, right? They have the equipment?
Yeah, they've got plenty.
I told them I was gonna buy them zero-turn mowers.
They've got a
Yeah.
turn, I've seen them
Yeah.
flying
Well,
around
aren't
this
they
summer,
mulched
out
out
walking
of,
the babies.
aren't they
They're
mulched
mulched
around?
too,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
so there's no weed eating, nothing.
Okay.
Parks have trees.
That's a weird concept, isn't it?
It might have been a bad day for the so-called gentleman, but.
And if you plant enough trees, the grass grows slippery.
Yes.
No, I mean, I get it. I've had that complaint myself at times, so it is, but in the whole grand scheme of things,
It gets paid by the hour.
there you go.
I did, after our last meeting, I drove down there and I'm like, wow, that's gonna look
Isn't that
absolutely
gonna look cool?
outstanding. That's gonna look so
I
cool.
think that was
Yeah.
I think
I think that was a.
With the
and,
street
that was
lights
a
and the
last,
trees.
Oh, that was a
oh, that was
last
a last minute thing, but man, that turned out, I think that's
Yeah.
gonna turn out really good.
You know,
So-
another thing, and I'm willing to do legwork on this, would be, in regards to street trees, to go through the neighborhoods that basically now don't have trees, street trees, and determine where we do future plantings. Just so that if, I don't know, we fall into a big pile of money somewhere, you know, we could quickly say,
It
yeah,
can be a 1-week decision instead of
Yeah,
a 2-month
yeah.
decision.
we don't have to then all go out and try and figure out where the trees can go,
Yep.
and is that okay with the utilities
Which
and,
I
you
think,
know?
well, utilities haven't been
utilities are
done,
just
that's
a struggle.
that's just a nightmare. But, I think Seth has done some of that, like come up with some sites that are missing or could.
I think
use
Tree Keeper
trees.
keeps
Uh-huh.
that. Tree Keeper has,
Right.
And I think, and maybe we should have him come back and talk with us now that he's done that.
But has he gone through like the newer neighborhoods, like back behind?
See, he was
Church of
supposed to go
God
through
and-
all of the city.
Oh, okay.
That's what he was,
Okay.
but he hasn't,
I've seen his truck in town a couple times.
have you?
Different
Okay.
areas.
And I just think maybe I'll do that. I'll reach out to him and maybe next meeting he can come and talk with us about
Yeah, just
if
give us
he's
an
got,
update.
yep, an update on things.
Well, I know our neighborhood doesn't have a lot between airport and 109, all
Well,
of
that
that.
place just,
I mean, we have, like, I have a.
I wish the homeowners would just decide that they needed to plant trees themselves. But
we're thinking about
I'm just kidding.
unannexing
He lives
it.
back there.
Just kind of
I was
let it.
listening to you. I know where you were going with that. I have a plenty, I probably put a troop too in that easement right there, easy, that's a huge easement.
Yep, you
I would welcome them and take care of them.
Well, we did that one year and back, because Jeff lives sort of in your neighborhood, but
Okay.
he's back on the other southwest, I guess,
Okay.
from you.
Okay.
And we had a couple trees left over in one of our planting things, and you took them home.
I put 'em in.
Yep,
Yeah.
They're across the street. I'll be
Yeah.
able to enjoy them.
yep. So, okay, so let's move on. We have 42 trees that need to get planted, hopefully, end of March, beginning of April.
Well, we just mentioned Hannah Extended. Can they be used in that area? Did you mention finishing it or just working on it?
I don't know, I mean,
Or
you know, we kind of
continuing on?
we talked a year or so ago about, you know, focusing on an area for street trees and,
Is there an estimated
There's-
amount that needs to be in there?
Part of our
or-
problem was last fall in that, we had a whole bunch marked on the east side of some of the
It
streets.
was the
And all the
locations.
utility, once they
Yeah.
did locates, they were all on the east side. So
And
we
there's
got to
nothing you-
plant on the west side.
Okay.
If I remember right, we planted on the west.
No, east.
We planned on the east and the
West side
utilities
had
were on the
utilities.
west.
Will that happen, you think, probably going down through?
Probably.
One
Yeah.
side will only be available,
Yes,
which means you'll need less trees to finish.
Correct.
Because you can only plant.
Or-
Or
Keep talking. I'm just going to look at something.
in the secret.
so as many, I mean, we had lots of sites.
I have 3 sites, or 3 trees that don't get it already.
Okay.
In front of B and J Rental, that, the warehouse part of B and J Rental. I kind of want to, we tried getting grants to put murals up there and never, ever fell through. And I'd just like to hide the wood, you know, it's got like, where there used to be windows, there's wood. I'd just love to hide those. Because the trail will be going along there now, and that's just 3 trees
Sure.
yeah.
Is that along, you're talking along the river or along the road?
along the road.
Okay.
Right along,
Yep.
kind of across from like Dairy Barn.
Yeah.
That area.
That could be
Oh,
a
that
really-
building, that brick
A
building?
really good
Yeah.
building for a business.
Yeah.
It's solid.
We had talked, you and I had talked at one point, in front of Raleigh's,
Yes.
between the building and the street. I think there's utilities there, though.
There is overhead power lines, I'm
Okay,
pretty sure.
okay.
That's that.
The other thing would be nice too, would be when you're coming into town before you cross over Blue River. I know, we got there's a big bus terminal there and everything else. And there's
Larry hit some roadblocks.
a lot of cement and things. Oh, is
It's
it,
owned by city, and I don't think they want the
They
old
don't want their,
trees.
Yeah, they don't want that
Across from-
parking lot
Oh,
blocked.
oh, okay. That'd be kind of a nice spot, area to have a line of trees.
But across from Raleigh's, the,
S&K stuff,
yes,
yeah.
Do we know about how many trees we need to finish annexing? Because just kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, like, okay,
I have the-
if we're removing some trees, can we go back and look at a few of those?
You could plant 100 trees out in Canada.
Oh, really? I didn't, well, I mean, I knew where that's going
Okay.
down the side. I wasn't quite sure.
Depending where the
I keep
utility
forgetting
sites
too that
at,
they keep
yeah.
expanding
Yes, Hannah
out
just
that
keeps
one
growing
side
and.
too.
Well,
Yeah.
what I'm curious of is, I know that we're trying to stay in that park strip between sidewalk and street. But where utilities are ran, and they're ran there, the right-of-way, I don't know if y'all can see this.
Is it that black, that
So,
bluish line?
yeah, so the blue line, you're gonna have from center of street out to the blue line, which is on the other side of the sidewalk. So if we do have a side that we are running into, we have utilities in that park strip, then,
Is
maybe
that-
on the other side of.
What
sidewalk.
is that, 5 feet, 10 feet? From like the sidewalk to the blue line?
Probably 7. I'm showing 7.5, but I got 5 fingers. So 6 to 7 feet.
Okay.
And that's like coming up on the side with the house, then, is the 6 to 7 feet side?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, from
Is
the,
that on the north or south?
this is, I just went up to.
Oh, you just,
You get up in there like 6 feet.
So, yeah, I just picked like.
Oh, okay, I got
This
it.
is the newer
Right, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking, we can,
Valley River.
Yeah.
we can plant it right at the 6-foot line, if it's
Gotcha.
6 foot away from the sidewalk.
We should be okay. We may need to get the property owner involved. Hey, your right of way ends about 6.5 feet from here. We'd like to plant this tree right on the line, but we would be taking care of the planting
Yeah,
and purchasing
yeah.
of the tree.
Little-
where the door
Okay with
hangers would
that?
be nice to have.
We wanna do that and keep it far enough away that we're not disrupting the sidewalk in the future or something along those lines.
Hannah extended 150 trees is what I got. Now, that's not including any of the new
Nothing to the
homes that are
north.
going in there.
Yep.
Just the one, because we kind of talked about that a little too. We started with Hannah because it's been there longer, you know,
Right.
and,
And I think it's gonna be better for us to not plant trees in the lots that don't have homes on them yet, up on
Yeah.
new development.
No,
Until some of
no,
that
no.
gets settled before.
they'll
we-
get destroyed, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, if
So
we
do you want to
have something-
concentrate on getting these 42 that are left? Do you want to concentrate and just get those into Hannah? Do you want to concentrate and put 35 in Hannah and your 3 in front of B and J and the other,
my pet project.
yeah.
I mean,
You
I
mean
do
of
think
the-
that
of
would,
the
I do think that would be
Of the
nice,
42
especially,
that we
especially
have.
being along a main thoroughfare though, like I,
I'll ask this.
There's gonna be more visibility.
So we have 42, and they probably need to be planted fairly quickly in March, correct? We don't want to hold,
Well, I don't want to have to water them.
that's what I'm saying, I
I
don't
don't want
think.
the labor of,
So
Yeah.
yes, they need
Right.
planted quickly.
So then, so
I mean,
then I would
I've
say
got
if we
them,
have,
I've got them all healed in now. So, you know, I'd like to plant them by late March,
I can drive
early
through
April.
Hannah and throw out some stakes.
well,
and
I'm
get a
just
feel.
thinking if we can, have a couple here, have a couple here, then maybe we only have 20 trees that we're planting out in Hannah,
Yeah,
extended, that, just so that you're not messing with them all summer because we dilly-dally.
I really don't want to mess with them all
Right,
summer.
right.
yeah. I like the idea too. I mean, it's great to be able to finish off an area.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice when we have the trees too, to do some things that beautify some more public areas,
Yep.
of the city, and I
We should
think
get some
that
more,
sounds
yeah, I like the
fun.
idea of more people, like, cause Hannah extended, like, the only reason you're going back there is cause you live back there. But like B and J, you're gonna get more visibility
Yeah.
along, by the library and like, people are seeing that stuff.
Mhm.
I like that. And wherever that would be, obviously.
Okay, Chip, that's on you
Gotcha.
now.
Gotcha.
Similar.
Well, and
So
maybe-
next meeting,
Yeah, and maybe we look at a couple down along, what's it, Old Trail that goes out by Default. Maybe we do 2 or 3 there, we do 2 or 3 over here, or 5 and 5 and 5, and then,
That's what I like, the idea of getting 20 more out to Hannah, or
Yep.
25
Yeah.
more in Hannah.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them,
Oh, I can-
come back in towards and,
Yeah, make statement trees.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder, could I put out like maybe, like, I don't think it's a silly idea, but just like
Here
something I
we
just
go.
kind of thought about. Well, if we pick our logo,
We have our logo down.
so we have our logo, right? Like, so when we do maybe these little beautification projects, like around
We
like.
put a logo up,
put, like-
a temporary
like,
sign up.
You know, like a little temporary sign, like, you know, something. But then I know people have to mow around them.
Well,
I agree, I think it's a good idea.
as long as they have 0 turns, we're okay.
Chip, we can put your name on it.
Oh,
It'll
good.
actually-
Like a signature, like an
Chip Hill on
autograph.
the Columbia City Tree.
I
Yeah,
do
so
not
Chip,
want
we'll just
my
say
name
Chip
on
was
anything.
here.
Sign.
It'd be like a
for
tombstone.
Brian. Gotcha. It'll be done.
I do like that idea though, because I do like that.
I mean, just not for everywhere, but like
No.
when we do like a little thing like that,
Along a
like,
very high traffic area, like,
I agree,
For-
I agree.
and then we
But I
just
had
leave
to
it
have
up for.
some anger in the writing, so
No, that's-
when I
no, that's
wrote
okay.
it, I was
And
angry.
then,
Lots of
but
anger
then
and-
with that, you can put Brian's cell phone number on the sign.
yeah, and then I'll.
If you have
Oh,
questions, call Brian.
But he doesn't live here anymore.
No, but I like,
New phone, who does?
Okay, last thing.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
don't know what time it is, but,
it's time to go eat.
yeah. And we don't have to talk about this, we can just table this if you want, but the Arbor Day celebration plans, we need to begin thinking about that, talking about that.
April 25th.
We have a costume now, so we want to use that.
I've lost about 10 pounds, so it should fit better.
Good, good for you.
I lose another,
Both ways.
if I lose another 10 or 15, and so it won't be 100 degrees that day, right?
April
That-
25th, it shouldn't be.
It'll be pleasant then.
We're moving the Arbor Day celebration back to Arizona.
No, gosh.
It's a dry heat.
It's a drag.
So we need to, we talked about it, it's April 25th. I think we want to try and use our costume that we have. I think we want to just kind of think about where we want to go. Do we want to go to Mary Raber? We want to go to,
Are we gonna have luck with schools this year?
If we get it planned in far enough advance.
and that's our problem in the last couple of years. It's been a last minute throw together, try to get, and then it's,
Okay.
they don't like that.
Yeah, we can do Mary River, Little Turtle.
Obviously, we want something city limits, so what's our options? Or what is the best option if we, since we're city limits, right?
Mary Raber,
Mary Rivers.
Little Turtle.
And Little Turtle.
Mayor prefers public schools because you're being funded by taxpayers.
So Little
but
Turtle?
We've done Mary Raber for a really
never
long
done anything
time.
at Little Turtle.
We've never done, and Little Turtle is part of city limit. So,
And
So is the high school.
I was gonna ask about that. I was
So
like,
is the high
high school, maybe like, cause I know they
So
have
is
that.
the middle school.
They have that nice walking trail back there. and stuff.
the elementary schools are, the kids get more excited about it.
Yeah.
They do,
However, we also have the Eagle class at the high school is working on getting a new program, or a new playground for the kiddos with special needs. So they're working on this outdoor area. That may be a possibility. So, like, my daughter Kendall and her friends in her class would eat that up.
Go crazy over it.
Yep.
Keep us updated on that and,
I'll find out where they're at in the,
okay.
because that may be a next year thing, and then we could wait a year.
Do you want me to get a hold of somebody at Little Turtle for this year's Arbor Day then? Or do we wanna work?
I say, yeah, probably Little Turtle.
I would
Mary
say
Raber
too.
always has their own program. I mean, they have
I think they've stopped
Stuff
that.
That was,
They do.
that was,
That-
that
'cause
was
that was
pre,
the issue
that was
last
pre-Montessori school.
Oh,
Yes.
right.
Uh-huh.
Gosh dang, I forgot
They had
about
that.
and
Oh, okay.
so I
So
know
now they
they,
do
they
not.
just do not.
I don't
have
think
it.
they're anti, but it's not the program that it was.
Okay.
So yes, if you're volunteering,
If you want to reach out to.
I'll
Little
reach
Turtle.
out to Little Turtle.
yep.
And Mary River or just Little Turtle? Was that-
I think one,
I
personally.
think we've never done Little Turtle, right?
Correct.
No,
I'd say we do that.
okay.
And then next year we
There's a lot more
do,
kids.
yeah, And if that, if we switch back and forth and just do one
Are we gonna have
school.
trees for them to take home and plant too type thing, or are we gonna just have trees for them to help us plant?
That's what we've
Needs
done
some kind
in the
of-
past. We've planted a nice sized tree at their school.
Okay,
They help throw dirt in.
Okay.
Or they mulch it, or we have the hole dug, the tree
Okay.
sitting.
okay,
Typically, that's what we do.
okay.
And then,
I'll brainstorm with whoever.
but if
about
there's
what-
other ideas, other options, nothing's,
Okay,
we can do other things. That's just what we've done in the past.
Where could we get some saplings from?
Someone,
But,
Saplings.
because Nadine always came through with,
She gets them through, she got them through soil and water.
those shipments come in from the DNR that were ordered last fall.
Do you want me to reach out to her or John Goetz at Soil and Water and see if they've got any that don't have tag for anybody?
I mean, it's neat. I don't know if it's necessary.
Yeah, I think it's neat too. I think the kids, I don't know how many of them actually ever make it to
If they
the
get 1 in
ground.
20 in the ground, I mean, that's,
I know I've got a
Maybe
really
grow
good-sized pecan tree in my landscaping because we had to plant a tree that my daughter brought home.
I have a very large red bud because my sunburn.
All right, well, we can do that. I'll get with you about
okay.
school stuff.
I can get a
Okay.
hold of Tom Crow out of Leo too. Gets tons of trees. I forget how many he's up to about 4 or 5 million trees he's planted since he's been doing it. He's planted all 9 out at our property.
Okay,
Might get some free ones.
well, if we don't have any other additions, I just need a motion that we adjourn.
I move we adjourn the meeting.